right, so first up today, we are heating things up as if we need to, as hot as it is outside. With Thunder Bay in the kitchen. This morning, we're going to have you dreaming about lunch or dinner because what's on the menu is a steak and a beer combo that's going to knock your socks off.
That's right. Chef Mike Stigler is here from Thunder Bay to grill a steak that's marinated in beer.
Morning, ladies.
What up, Mike?
How are you doing today?
Doing good.
Good.
Waiting on that chest hair.
Chewbacca, yeah. Sasquatch. Women love that sort of thing.
Do you think the women like chest hair?
I think it depends, you know, kind of like Tiff was saying, as long as it's not, you know, too far extended out, you know, I guess. Yeah. Purely a guess on my part. I mean, you're asking
you don't want it like puffing out their shirt.
You're asking the wrong dude
collar,
here. I mean, it doesn't do anything for me, I tell you that. I prefer smooth.
Good answer.
Good to know.
Yeah. Is this beer for us to drink?
Yeah, knock it back. You betcha.
Oh,
that's
knock it back.
That's Dopplebock beer right there. Dopplebock. You know, that's the kind of beer that we use to marinate the steak in, and then we call it the Dopplebock Steak. So it's
a little chewy.
Good.
It's a little chewy. It's got a little bit of tooth to it, but it's a good hearty beer.
I like beer with some teeth.
So what we have going on here is a sirloin steak. This is a choice sirloin steak, which we have marinating in some of that Dopplebock beer right there, a little bit of soy sauce, and some honey to kind of give it a little bit of sweetness.
Do you have to open up, like, do you have to cut anything in a steak for it to marinate well?
No, you really don't. You know, that's gonna, as long as you get it into the marinade soon enough, I mean, you can tell from looking at the steak that it has, you know, the little grains in there all kind of open up. And that marinade gets in there really nicely, and you can tell it's in there really good.
Is there a rule of thumb about how long you marinate something?
Well, when you're marinating steak, you're going to want to marinate it for longer than if it was, you know, fish. Because fish is so open that it'll soak up a marinade. Usually you only want to go for an hour or two. Steak, you know, overnight, 24 hours. You go too much longer than that and it really starts to get into the inside of the steak to the point where it colors it a little bit more and it's hard to get, you know, medium rare or whatever, and it's kind of dark all the way through.
Gotcha.
So we pulled this guy out of the marinade, and then we're going to go ahead and season him up with some cracked black pepper, garlic, onion. It's just kind of like your traditional Montreal-style steak seasoning. Then from there, we're going to move it on over to the pan, where I already have one going in here. So I'm going to go ahead and give this guy a flip here. So that's our 9-ounce Dopplebock steak. We also have this on the lunch menu in a slightly smaller steak, 6-ounce version. Going to get it smoky in here. And then to add to that, we also have some pan-roasted potatoes. So these are red potatoes and also Yukon Gold potatoes that we have going in the pan here. And to that, we're going to add some onions and peppers to give that a little bit of color and also a little bit of extra flavor.
Is the sweet smell the potatoes, or is that the steak?
The what now?
Is the sweeter smell right now? Is that the steak?
It's a little bit of the steak because it's got the honey on there. And when the honey hits the grill, you get a little bit of that caramelization that starts going on there.
Seriously, it smells awesome.
And then we're also going to add a little bit of fresh rosemary into our potatoes here. Now this is rosemary that we keep right on the sprig until it's time for it to go in the pan, and then you just kind of pull it down and it all comes right off like that.
But you put it in that big, you're not chopping it up or anything.
No, it's more for an aromatic, which means that you're just going for the smell of it rather than going for the actual, you know, people aren't going to probably eat it because it kind of has a texture sort of similar to like pine needles, you know.
Right.
So basically you just want to have it in the pan long enough for it to start releasing those essential oils that are in the herbs. And then that's going to help to season the potatoes, and then it's going to be good to go.
What is it about, is beer sort of like citrus, like lemon or lime, where it's like there's something about the liquid that breaks down meat or tenderizes it?
It doesn't really break it down so much, and that's sort of the reason why you want to add something that has a bit of acidity to the beer when you marinate it, like either, you know, like you said, a citrus or the soy sauce that we have in here. That'll really help it to kind of permeate the meat a little bit. So we're going to keep this guy going here, and then we're going to start to set up our plate. Now, what we're going to put on the bottom of our plate is a little bit more Dopplebock. This is the Dopplebock sauce that we're going to put on here, and this is a reduction, basically. So this is Dopplebock beer that's been reduced down with the beef stock. So we're going to provide sort of a base on the plate for that, kind of spread that around and make a nice little pool for our steak to jump into there. So we've got our Dopplebock sauce on the bottom. We've got our potatoes going here, and then we're going to take our steak, which is probably a nice medium rare right now.
It's funny, like even when you try and do that little circle thing at home, it doesn't look like that at home.
Well,
it was so easy. Mine's like some, you know, like Picasso.
Right.
You know?
The important thing you got to keep in mind is that your sauce isn't too runny. I mean, if you got a runny sauce, it's going to spread all over the place.
And it's just a matter of reducing it or cooking it long enough, right?
Until it gets just
fancy that looks.
Just to the point where it spreads, but it doesn't get too watery. Then we have a mushroom medley that we're going to put on top of here. So this is shiitake mushrooms, portobello mushrooms, and button mushrooms, which are all roasted together in the oven and then finished up in the pan.
Do you do those in butter, or what do you do mushrooms?
Those are with olive oil. We actually use like a roasted garlic olive oil. And then to that, we're going to go ahead and put our roasted potatoes right on the plate here. and you're going to have the finished product of the Dopplebock steak, the drunken steak.
Yeah.
Our producer just gave us a time cue, and then she goes, "We're all drooling." And
I know.
All right,
nice.
eat your heart out,
It's
Katie.
just naughty.
Go ahead and dig in.
I'll give you a bite first, Tiff. All right.
How long do you keep the patio open? Do you keep it open till?
We don't have like a set cutoff date when we close it off. It's all going to be dependent upon the weather. I mean, as warm as it is right now, heck, if this keeps up, we'll keep it open, October, November. And we will be having Packer games on out there on the big screens that we have out. So we all know Packer season starts this weekend. We're going to have the games on outside on the patio as well as inside around the bar. So don't let the fact that there's a Packer game on keep you away from the restaurant. You can come on out, have a drunken steak, and get drunk and watch the game, have a good time. Watch the Packers root them on to victory.
Look at that.
So yeah, patio, drinks, food, Thunder Bay. It's where you need to be.
So
all right,
good.
you want to read the graphic, Mike?
Well, we have a lot more coming up for you on today's show, including many different things, which we'll get to in good time. But first, what you want to remember is Thunder Bay, exit I-94, exit 294, 164 in Pewaukee, 262-523-4244, or visit us at thunderbaygrill.com.
I love it.
Pretty
Keep
soon
reading.
he's going to be taking over our job.
I'm angling for it.
Yeah.
You're the best, Mike. So
All right,
good.
thank you. That was delicious. Have this on the lunch and the dinner menu.